All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and good night, everyone. My name is Chinamram Chivo. That's me waving. Hi, good to see all you guys. I know this has been a long-awaited video. It is the 2020 version of my top 5 mechanical pencils. Yes, you heard that right. Top 5. We're going up from 3 this year. So this is the 2020 edition. I know that a lot of you guys are probably heading out to school. Maybe you're taking a year off because of some virus that cannot be named, but if you aren't, this might be especially useful for you. I know a lot of my friends are heading off to university, so for taking notes in class, if you're using a physical note-taking system, it's very important to have a nice pair or a nice set of mechanical pencils to choose from, or at least one solid one that you can stick with during your time in uni. And so I'm gonna kind of give you a view of the things that I appreciate in a mechanical pencil, and hopefully you can find something that suits you from my list. Okay, so this year I've decided to be just a little bit more structured. So first I'll give you the name of each pencil, and then I will give it a rank out of 5 on the following skills. So comfort, and then build quality, and then the features, and then the price, and then I'll give it a total score. You can observe my wonderful handwriting. I will be writing in each of the pencils as they come, and I'll be starting from 5 and heading upwards, and I will be starting now. This video is probably going to be very long because I don't want to edit it, but at least I'm making something, So number 5, drum roll please. Okay, it's a zebra Delguard. So you might be wondering, oh, what is that? What makes this pencil so special? It just looks like any dumb old mechanical pencil. And you'd be right. That's why it's number 5 and not number 1. No, but in all honesty, the Zebra Delguard is a fairly inexpensive, decent quality pencil that has a few interesting features. So let's start off though with comfort. So the Zebra Delguard is fairly comfortable. It has little notched pattern close to the tip so that your fingers can rest more comfortably. And for long writing sessions, it's okay. It's not perfect, but it is serviceable. So let me write the name. This is the Zebra Delguard. And then for comfort, I'd give it a 3 out of 5. So it's not anything special. You're not going to be writing for 10 hours with this, but if you are writing, it won't be an absolute pain. So that's a 3 out of 5. For build quality, it's made out of plastic, so it's not any high quality material or metal, but I have used it for a little while, and it's not too horribly dinged up. There's some scratches, it most likely won't focus, but there are some scratches at the back, but nothing too noticeable. The pencil is still in pretty good shape despite several months of use, so I'd give it a 3 out of 5 for build quality. I'm writing this in the wrong spot, but let's ignore that. So 3 out of 5, that's the Zebra Delguard. And of course, I'm not going to reshoot this video because that would defeat the whole purpose. I did that on purpose so that I could show you the eraser. So this kind of comes along with a feature section. So the eraser is not too big. It's not tiny, and at least it has an eraser. However, it's nothing impressive. It won't last you very long. You should probably have your own dedicated eraser. Just as a general rule, I think it's a good idea to not use mechanical pencils erasers because they're typically not very large. But if you have to, like I'm about to do now, try to not erase an entire page, So that's the Zebra Delguard. And for features, it has something that's pretty interesting. Why it's called the Delguard is because when you apply an excessive amount of force, it's a little bit difficult to demonstrate. When you apply an excessive amount of force, the cone tip actually lifts up a little bit. So it's very difficult to break this pencil because if I push down hard, that completely defeats my purpose. If I push down hard, the tip actually comes to stop the lead from breaking. It doesn't always work. It's not a perfect feature. However, it is serviceable. I give it a 3 out of 5 on that as well. It's a pretty average pencil, as you can see, but it is number 5 on my top 5 list. I'm a pretty harsh marker. And for cost, I give it a 4 out of 5. It's $9 Canadian. That might seem a bit steep, but just wait for the rest of the list. And this is like not just cost, it's kind of price to performance. So I think for the money you're paying, you're getting a pretty good pencil. And it does what it's supposed to do. It writes. And that's just about everything you can need in a pencil. In total, that is 13. I hope my math is correct and I'm not embarrassing myself. 13 out of 20. And that places this Zebra Delguard at number 5 on my list. Okay. Next up, drum roll once again. Haha. It's this beautiful pencil. It's the Pentel Carry. Yes. So is this a pencil? Is it a pen? Well, it actually comes in both pencil and pen forms, but the pencil is what I'm going to be showing you today. And it looks pretty sleek. This kind of goes in the category of build quality. It's really well made. It has some nice metal. Nothing is plasticky about it. It feels durable. It's a nice grip in its hand. You're probably wondering, where's the actual pencil? All I see is a pen-shaped item. Just hold on. I've unsheathed the pencil. And this is really cool because you can snap the pencil on at the back like that. And there's an eraser back there. It's actually fairly big for a pencil eraser. A mechanical pencil eraser, that is. And you can also just write with the pencil like this. So it's a little bit smaller. If you have small hands, this might be great. But I usually use it like this. It's a little bit more to hold. I find that to be pretty cool. But you can turn it into a mini pencil. And then you can put in your lead over here at the back. It's a really cool package. It's pretty comfortable to hold because it's all rounded and it's kind of like, it's pretty good for longer writing sessions, I'd say. So on that note, I would give it a 4 out of 5 for comfort. It holds well in the hand. It's not too heavy on one side or the other. None of these pencils are particularly unbalanced in my opinion. The balance is around the center, which is kind of perfect for a mechanical pencil. A little bit to the front, I don't mind either. But for longer writing sessions, in my opinion, this isn't bad at all because, there's no sharp ridges over here. I find that I hold my pencil pretty close to the tip. So if something has a sharp drop off, I prefer it less than if it's just a smooth transition. And this is perfect for that. So this is once again the Pentel Kerry. Carry as in Kerry, not Katy Perry. I know it can be a bit confusing. I know. For build quality, it's really, really well made in my opinion. I give it a solid 5 out of 5. It's not heavy, but it feels quality. It's not too light where it feels like it can just fly away in your hand. And in terms of features, you can it's kind of like a transformer. You can undo one part and put it somewhere else if you need to. So I give it a 4 out of 5 for that as well. And in terms of price, I wouldn't say it's the best in terms of price to performance. It's 23 Canadian dollars about on Amazon, and so it would have to get a 3 out of 5. I don't think it's outrageously priced. However, I don't also think that this couldn't be sold for like $15 or something. So that is the Pentel Carry. That is number 4 on my list. All right, our next contender. Can we get another round of applause? I hope you're doing this at home as well. I can't hear you. You gotta be buying along with me. No? Okay, that's fine. It's this. So we actually have a 3-way tie between number 2, number 3, number 4. That will just give you an idea of how either great or mediocre these pencils are, because they are pretty great, but they're also not that much different from one another, even though they have different use cases, I'd say. So the first thing that you would probably get drawn to when you look at this pencil is right here. So this is soft rubber. It's why it's called the Alpha Gel. I don't know why the Alpha is there. It's not the first of its kind, but it is pretty cool. And for long writing sessions, this is definitely a big plus. I find myself using this pencil, at least in the past, fairly often during school time, because for other pencils, I'd actually get a little bump right here for extended writing sessions because I hold my pencils pretty tightly. That's a tongue twister. And so this is actually pretty great. So there's nice soft rubberized texture over here, and the whole pencil isn't too heavy. Good balance. The eraser is decently sized, although not huge. Has a nice pocket clip. The whole pencil is pretty good. In terms of comfort, I'd say it is a solid 4 out of 5. Actually, no, I'd say it's a 5 out of 5. You can't get any more comfortable than this, really. So this is the Alpha Gel Shaker by Uni. And yes, I did say shaker. What does that mean? Well, that means that, if you pay attention to the lead, if you shake it, the lead comes out a bit more. You notice that? So I don't necessarily feel like this is the most important thing in the world. It's a little bit gimmicky, but not that gimmicky, Like it's somewhere in the middle of the road where you can use it. And I personally do use it. Not excessively. Like I do sometimes find myself, retracting it the normal way. That usually just takes like half a second. But sometimes this is just a tiny bit faster. And when you're speed writing or whatever, you gotta, those precious milliseconds count. But it's not the most important thing in the world. So I'd give it a 3 out of 5. In terms of build quality, this is a solid 4 out of 5. It's not a 5. It's not metal construction, and it doesn't have to be metal to be well built. That's why I still gave this a solid 4, which I think is pretty good. I've used this for a while. It's not really showing any scratches or anything, and I think it is plastic. However, it's a pretty durable plastic, and it seems like it's not going to just give out on you any day, unlike some other pencils, which we'll get to later. Anyways, in terms of price, it's not too expensive. It's around 16 Canadian dollars. And in terms of the quality for the price, I'd say that that's pretty good for what you're getting. So I'd give it a 4 out of 5 in terms of price. The Pentel Carry, which I didn't mention, came to a total of 16. And as I said, this is a 3-way tie, so this is 16 out of 20 as well. That's a great pencil, and it is number 3 on my list. Number 2, once again, we're approaching the final. So you got to get pretty excited, I guess. Number 2 is a really great pencil. It's kind of near and dear to my heart. It's the Rotaring Rapid Pro. So I actually used to have a Rotring 600. And one thing you'll notice if you've had a 600 is that this is a lot more round. And I really, really like that about this pencil. Another plus from the Rotring 600 is that it has a retractable sleeve. So the Rotring 600 that I had previously, like on the 3rd day I had it, I dropped it onto a carpet and the sleeve bent. And that's not what you want to see from what's supposedly a high quality pencil. Maybe that's partially my fault, but I don't really think so. I use my pencils like they're pencils. They're supposed to be tools, and they're supposed to, last for a decent amount of time and not break on like your 3rd use. So I have some beef with the 600, but the Rapid Pro is kind of a more modern version. It's more sleek. It still has the Rotaring red ring, which is what they're known for, and it has this knurling at the front. Now, I don't love this knurling. It's not the most comfortable thing, but it does give you some additional grip. And it can wear off a little bit over time. That's what I found with my last pencil, but it's still pretty good. So I'd give it a 4 out of 5 in terms of comfort. It's not the most comfortable thing, but it has, you can grip it pretty well. The balance is good, and you can tell it's well-crafted German engineering, which I'm pretty sure is what it is. So that's Rotring. That's not how you're supposed to say it because it's German. Rotaring, fun fact, is German for red ring. You learn something new every day, don't you? It's the Rotaring Rapid Pro. So the build quality, I'd say, is pretty great. I give it a 5 out of 5. Does have some minor things. This kind of wears off over time, but it's brass. You kind of expect that. But overall, it feels pretty good. It looks pretty sleek. And in terms of features, I wouldn't say it has that many. So you don't need features that are gimmicks, but it does help to have things like, have this actually extend more than 1/4 of a centimeter in case you're ever trying to put it on your pocket, or I know that the Uni mechanism is patented or whatever, but it would be cool to see it on some other pencils. It has some features. It's not completely devoid, but it is definitely not perfect. I'd still give it a 4 out of 5. The retractable sleeve really does it for me, and the knurling's pretty cool too. In terms of price, beware the sticker shock. This is on Amazon for around, I think, like $53. So probably not the best in terms of price. However, I think for what you're getting, it's okay. Now, you might be quick to rebuttal that that's absolutely crazy. But once you get into a mind state where I didn't buy this, okay? I'll give myself that excuse. A really close person to me gave it to me. That's why it has my name on it, actually. That's pretty sick. That's not the reason why it's number 2. It's a sick pencil, but even without my name, it'd still be number 2. 0.5 millimeters, like all of the pencils here, because if you use 0.7, you're crazy. And if you're anywhere lower than 0.5, I don't know how your writing is that tiny. But it's a really good pencil. In my opinion, it's better than the 600. I haven't tried the 800 because it's like $800. No, it's like $65, which I think is pretty crazy for a pencil. However, in terms of price, that's a solid 3 out of 5. Not the best. I'd say you're not fully getting ripped off, but you're kind of getting ripped off. You're paying for the German engineering, I'd say. So that is number 2 on my list. Now, the final, the what we've all been waiting for, or whatever, however you say that. One more drum roll, right? Okay, are you ready? You're not ready. If you can tell what it is, you're looking at way too many mechanical pencils. This is the Pentel GraphGear 1000. Now, beautiful pencil. Let's start off with that. Even though I shouldn't start off with that, because I literally said that comfort was supposed to be my first thing. Okay, I'll stick with my prescribed structure. I think it's a pretty comfortable pencil. It has knurling. However, indented in the knurling are these little rubberized, soft, cushiony things. That's the technical term, of course. And I think that they're kind of helpful. For me, it's not the best because I'm still gripping my pencil pretty hard. However, the balance is pretty great. It just feels pretty great. You can write with it for fairly long sessions. It's not the best because it does have like a notch here, and I hold my pencil pretty close to the tip. However, you can't feel it that well. It isn't as great as, say, like something made for long writing sessions, like the Alpha Gel Shaker. Oh man, I can't be forgetting names like that. But it is pretty great. It's pretty great for writing sessions. I give it a 4 out of 5 in terms of comfort. 4 out of 5. I better write the name before you guys forget what it's called. This is the Pentel GraphGear 1000. Don't get the 800, you'll be scammed. Okay, build quality. Great. You can't really ask for much better than this. It feels like it's all metal construction. It looks pretty squared. It feels like a good pencil. You look at it, you say, oh, it's sick. That's a sick pencil. So I give it a 5 out of 5. In terms of features, it has some decent features that I honestly use. So you can do this. Now wait for it. You have to pay close attention. So look at the tip and look where my finger is. So I'm going to push down on this and look at what happens to the tip if the camera would focus. I bet you half of this video has not been in focus, and so I'm kind of sorry for that, but not really. You see that? I'll do that again. One sec, let me put the lead back. Okay, look at the tip, then look where my finger is. Pow! The tip goes inside. That's great if you want to carry things in your pocket. You don't want your pencil stabbing you from inside. I've had that experience way too many times. And yeah, it's an actual feature that I legitimately use. A feature that I don't use as much, but is cool to have, is a lead window. So it tells you what kind of lead you have. So it's not going to focus, don't worry. But if it did, you'd be able to see that it currently says H, even though I don't have H lead in, shows how much I use it. Now it says HB. You still can't see that, but that's okay. Anyways, you're supposed to keep the type of lead you have displayed so that if you have multiple pencils, like you're really balling, you can be looking and see, oh, this pencil is a B pencil, and that refers to like the softness or hardness of the lead. So HB is what I typically use. Sometimes I've used 2B, but 2B or not 2B, it doesn't really matter. But the HB is pretty sick. 0.5, once again, it's a great pencil. It has some features. Another thing I really like about this pencil is that it's has a really long it's pretty long, so you can write but also see what you're writing. And if you do like any drafting work or anything that requires you to make, long strokes or like draw for any periods of time, it's cool to be able to see what you're doing at the same time as you're doing it. Like, this is pretty skinny, like it tapers off pretty well at the end, so you can easily tell what you're writing as you're writing it. I'd say it's pretty sick in terms of feature. Not perfect, but pretty sick. I give it a 4 out of 5. It could be better if, say, had like a protective sleeve, like if you press this it went in, some things like patented technology, something that makes it really stand out. Some of those things feel gimmicky, and this is a pretty solid pencil, but I'd only give it a 4 out of 5 in terms of features. In terms of price, now it's 16 Canadian dollars, and for what you're getting, I think that's a really good deal. Really good. All of these pencils are pretty pricey. However, you're investing in a tool that's supposed to last. You can get a pack of wooden pencils at the dollar store for like $2, and what happens to those pencils is that half of them are whack, or they don't sharpen well. And then what are you doing? You're sharpening your pencils? Who are you, a caveman? Like, what era are we living in? This is the future. We have mechanical pencils. Not that things that come from the future are always the best. However, if you can take advantage of new technologies, take advantage of it. Get something that's solid and that will last you for a long time. And every single one of these recommendations on my list, from the Zebra Delguard to the Pentel GraphGear, all of them I would recommend. I would legitimately give this to different people if they, ask for a pencil recommendation, which has never happened in my life. But you that are listening to this video, clearly, you're somewhat interested, so thank you for sticking this far. And it kind of shows because these are the pencils that I actually use. I'd say my most used pencil is the GraphGear, and then the Rotring, and it's literally in the order that I have them here. These are the pencils that I use because these are the pencils that I like to use. If I'm doing a really long writing session, I'm gonna go with the Alpha Gel. I might switch from the Rotring to the Alpha Gel if I know I'm writing for a long time. And if you can't find one pencil, you always have the other ones to rely on. And it's pretty great. This has been a long video. I do not plan on editing it because it's a long video. But I appreciate you for sitting through the whole thing. I hope you got something out of this. If not, thank you anyways. Once again, I'll go through the names and the prices. I'll leave some Amazon links in the description. This is the Pentel GraphGear 1000. It's my personal first choice. This is the Rotaring Rapid Pro. Really great pencil. Good build quality. Good brand. This is the Alpha Gel. Really comfortable for long periods of time. This is the Pentel Carry. It looks sick, kind of like a pen. And this is the Zebra Delguard. It is sick, and it's a lot cheaper than the rest. Some honorable mentions. Seems like my camera's almost out of space. We have the Uni Roulette and the Uni Ball Kurutoga, and both of these have rotating mechanisms. So as you type, the lead rotates. I don't use this as much. That's why they're not on my list, because I find it a little bit gimmicky. I don't really care that my lead's gonna rotate. If it doesn't, I can just rotate the pencil. It's not the end of the world. Anyways, thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and peace.